And then, of course, all the responses to me were, oh, wait till Ben Shapiro hears your take on this. He's not going to be happy. And it's like, and then, you know, not that we didn't have any conversation about what my take on it is, but it didn't surprise me when he came out a day later and was like, yeah, I'm against it too.
Matt Walsh recently went on Timcast just a few days ago and addressed all the drama between Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro and this whole Daily Wire situation of Candace Owens being fired, all the drama happening over at the Daily Wire, which has been pretty crazy, and they've been getting a lot of backlash about it. Matt Walsh talks about it and addresses it directly, and even I have some proof and evidence to say, you know, contrary to what Matt Walsh is going to say here, there is something going on. There is something brewing between Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, and the Daily Wire. Let's check this out, and then I'm going to show you exactly why. Like, obviously, Matt Walsh here is going to say, you know, the same stuff that everybody always says when they work for a company. Oh, there's no beef. There's no way I'm going to be fired. Just like Candace Owens said a few months before she was fired. But she ended up getting fired anyway. Let's check out this clip here from Matt Walsh going on Timcast and talking about this Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, Candace Owens situation.
Agency, and we're allowing them to set the terms for our laws, which mean these basically we are farming this out to other governments, giving them influence over our laws. And then we have like one of the examples of anti-Semitism that this organization gives has to do with making criticisms of the state of Israel.
Right.
And then Israel itself is in this organization. So it's sort of like Israel has a hand in saying that it's illegal to criticize them. You know, it's like, it's absurd.
There was a tweet from Ben. He was criticizing it, saying this is the last thing we need. Like, you know, another free attack on free speech. I retweeted that. There was something maybe from you or whatever. And the generic responses from people were, it didn't even matter what Ben said. No matter what he said, they assumed it was the opposite because they just don't like Jews.
That's why it's funny when this law was first when the news of this law first broke, and I came out against it really strong.
By the way, I mean, you have to watch what you say over here, but you know, Tim Pool, I don't know, it's so frustrating. There's definitely people out there, not probably, there definitely is people out there that just don't like that certain group of people. So no matter what Ben Shapiro says, no matter what anybody says that is, you know, historically been defending that group of people, of course they're going to not like them because they've defended that group of people. Of course there's going to be a certain subset of the population that doesn't like that group of people. That is true. But the vast majority of the criticism going against Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire is not because people don't like that group of people just because they are that group of people. It's their action. It's Ben Shapiro's actions and the Daily Wire's actions. It's just such a cop-out answer. It's just it's just not the truth. It's not, you know, just saying that, oh, they just don't like this group of people. It's the same thing that the left does. And I'm so tired of saying that because I feel like every time I talk about somebody on the right doing something wrong, I'm always saying, oh, that's exactly what the left does. Maybe it's not just what the left does. Maybe that's just what the left and the right do. People who are bought into either side, that's just what they do. It seems like both sides. Oh, you disagree with me? You're this istophobe. You're that istophobe. You're anti-Semitic. You're racist. You're homophobic. Whatever. Both sides are doing it constantly. So I'm tired of saying, oh, that's just what the left does. That's not just what the left does. That's what both sides are doing constantly. I can't have an opinion that goes against either the left or the right without being called some sort of istophobe. And it doesn't matter which one I go against. I'm always called an istophobe every single time, you know? And that's exactly what Tim Pool is doing here. Just the ad hom attacks, you know? It's just, oh, you disagree with Ben Shapiro, and even though he tweeted something that's, you know, you also agree with, you're still not loving him and you're still trolling him in his comments and his replies on Twitter. Oh, you must be this istophobe. You must not like this group of people just because they are that group of people. That's not the case. For the vast majority of the criticism going against the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro, that's not the case. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong.
Very strongly. And then, of course, all the responses to me were, oh, wait till Ben Shapiro hears your take on this. He's not going to be happy. And it's like, and then, you know, not that we didn't have any conversation about what my take on it is, but it didn't surprise me when he came out a day later and was like, yeah, I'm against it too.
Yeah.
It's a basic free speech thing.
It's kind of wild because I think a lot of people don't actually watch the content, especially like backstage, because I saw clips from, it was like you, Jeremy, Ben, and others were talking about Israel and these issues, and it was like a nuanced discussion with varying opinions. But the assumption is that if like it doesn't happen, the Daily Wire doesn't have any, like, no matter what, it's always going to be pro-Israel no matter what happens. Even
by the way, this nuanced discussion with varying opinions, I'm going to bring that up in here in 1 second. And it was definitely not a nuanced discussion with varying opinions. It was the complete opposite of that. And it was Matt Walsh literally getting shut down for questioning America supporting that country over in the Middle East. It was literally him getting shut down and saying, shut up, Matt. You're saying the wrong opinion right now. You better stop talking. That's literally what happened. I'm going to show you in 1 second here.
Even if it's the anti-Semitism bill?
Yeah. And my take on all this, and I'm very non-interventionist. People call me isolationist. I'll take that label, I suppose. And it's always been my view, and you know, I've argued about it. We've debated this, as you say, on air many times. And
it's the crazy thing, because on this show we've actually argued, and like I've gotten heated and pissed about the U.S. Building that dock off of that pier in Gaza, which is an invasion. It's a beachhead. Whatever. I don't care what anyone else wants to call it. We shouldn't be involved. I don't see why we're funding foreign wars. I don't know that I would say isolationist, but my attitude is before we spend money literally anywhere else, we can secure our borders, we can fix our roads, we can build our bridges.
1 sec. I have to show you this comment. This is a live stream right now. Disagree with pro-Israel legislation? You don't like Jews, or you're a raging leftist? Conservative Politics 2024. 100% correct. 100% correct. Exactly what I was saying earlier. That's exactly what conservative politics have become nowadays. And it's leftist politics too. But I'm tired of saying, oh, that's what the left does. No, that's what the conservatives do. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
And I still get people claiming that I'm wanting to fund Israel. It makes literally no sense.
Yeah, I mean, countries have the right to defend themselves, and so and the other thing too is that it's sort of the law of the land, the law of conquest, sort of which supersedes everything else. Just sort of because
if you enjoy content like this, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, it really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
It's the reality of things, which is that if you want to exist as a country, you have to be able to defend yourself. You have the right to defend yourself. If you can't defend yourself, you're not going to exist as a country anymore. And right. So that process should be allowed to play out. We don't, as America, we don't have to be the arbiters over which country wins and which country loses in this.
All right,
I got 100% agree with Matt there. I wish we would just stay out of it. But who doesn't 100% agree with Matt is his coworkers and his bosses, Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring. In this clip here, he gets completely shut down from saying this. In this tweet here from Del Groip, it says, Matt Walsh, you don't have a patriotic duty to support any country except your own. Ben Shapiro, no. Let's check this out.
But at the same time, I think one thing, the people that you're talking about.
And this is the podcast of this nuanced, discussion that Tim Pool was talking about, referring to with Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring here. Let's check this out.
One thing that annoys them is when they see, I don't remember who tweeted. Someone tweeted something like, if you're an American patriot, it means you're pro-Israel or something like that. Yeah. Right. This idea that like it is your patriotic duty to have this particular feeling about another country, no matter what the other country is. I don't care what country it is. So that goes too far on that side of it. And I think they're kind of reacting. It's kind of what you're saying. Yep. They're reacting to that.
I do think, I do think that there is something patriotic.
You see how they instantly shut him down. You see, he's saying, oh, it's ridiculous to think that in order to be patriotic, you have to support this other country. And if you don't support this other country that the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro love so much, you're not patriotic. And then they instantly say, oh, well, I do think that there is something patriotic. Like they cut him off instantly.
About supporting our allies, because we form alliances because it's in our national interest to form alliances. And having formed those alliances, and if we're all operating in a kind of good faith where those alliances are concerned, then there is a kind of patriotic.
Yeah, but you don't have a. You don't have a patriotic. You don't have a patriotic. You do not have a patriotic duty to support any country that is not your own.
Well, so I will say that I think that what that statement is missing is the phrase at the end, right now. Okay, so I don't think that you have a patriotic duty to eternally support any other country because circumstances change. The country, I mean, how many times have we seen alliances change and people end up on the other side of those alliances? But the idea that in a conflict between a democratic ally and an actual terror group, that it doesn't connect to any sort of, we're not talking about nationalism now, which is just attachment to country. We're talking about patriotism, which goes to underlying principle, that you have no duty at all to support a fellow democracy that is an ally in its own battle for survival. That seems to me to raise some patriotism principles. In the same way that would raise patriotism principles to say that if Hitler were about to overrun Britain, people who are saying, well, you know what, it doesn't implicate the United
Yeah, that's different, because obviously Hitler wasn't going to stop. But you know, it's ridiculous. It's all just ridiculous. I feel like I've said it a ton of times. Why, whenever there's terrorist stuff happening in the United States, do those countries over in the Middle East, do they feel obligated to help us out? Why should we, our citizens, feel obligated and be called not patriotic if we don't feel obligated to help them out? It's ridiculous. And I just wanted to show this, you know, to prove Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, like, Matt Walsh is not allowed to say what he really thinks over at the Daily Wire. He's not. And as much as Tim Pool wants to tell you that they were having a nuanced discussion, this wasn't a nuanced discussion. This was Matt Walsh getting silenced for having an opinion that's not the opinion at the Daily Wire. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Matt Walsh's appearance over on Tim Pool, talking about all of the Daily Wire drama recently. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole situation.